Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today. We're getting ready to go ahead and start our Facebook live stream. Going to be doing these every night at 7 p.m. So we'd like to just say thanks to everybody who stopped in yesterday, painted with us. Thanks for all the comments. It was great to see a lot of you. And after, first day of homeschooling, I'm sure some of you guys need a little break, and maybe we can do that for you. I altered the painting we're going to do today. The other one, a little more dry time than I think I'd like for it. So with altering the painting, I moved on to, this was actually the very first painting that Jessi did for her paint parties. So with that, we're going to go ahead and start this one out. I'm going to give it a little bit, let people sign in. I know a couple people are going to be joining us. To exercise some social distancing and stuff, Jessi's going to be, I got her in my ear over here, so she's going to be getting our kids to bed and being at the house, jumping on with us. So for those of you guys that are going to be painting with us, it's going to be a simple painting tonight. We're going to be, let's see, we're going to be using black. We're going to be using an orange, a white, a green, and I think that's it. This should be a fun one. So while we're doing this, I'm gonna have Jessi in my ear because I can't read the screen a lot while I'm going. I have my phone over here, so when she gets home, she's gonna call in. She just finished up something, so we're gonna be going ahead, starting this up right here. So I'll grab my Grab my 16 by 20 pre-stretched canvas. Like I said yesterday, hey, I kind of can see. I'm a little further away from my thing. How you doing, Tina? If you don't have canvas, boards, papers, loose leaf, if you don't have paints or paintbrushes, colored pencils, crayons, markers, even cut out, little clippings from magazines, put things together. We'd love for you guys, drop some pictures in the comments. I think yesterday you guys got to see Blii Clinton's. He's not going to be able to join us tonight, but it's just going to be me here, and we're going to go walking through this. So that being said, I just have to go grab one color, and I'll be right back. Black. I forgot that one of them all. So I'm going to go ahead. This painting here, we're going to start off with a black canvas. Now, I thought about, pre-painting mine before jumping on with you guys, but I figured if you're painting along with me, you're going to have the same challenges I do. We got to have a little dry time in between. So I'm going to go ahead and cover my whole canvas. I'm using today apple barrel acrylics. These dry flat. If you don't put them on really thick, they dry pretty quick too. Biggest thing you want to make sure that we're going to be doing is when we put this on, just want to even out the coat. If you're sending it across, moving it on, stretch it out. That way you don't have big thick areas, taking a long time to dry. I'm using up a lot of paint on my brush before I go and load it up again. Like yesterday, I told you guys, I always hit it side to side just to knock down any of those bigger groupings of paint that might be in there from my brush strokes. When you're doing this, you can go any direction, side to side, up and down, circular. I just always end side to side. when I'm painting the canvases black, I do like to do different directions. It digs the paint down in to the woven canvas. Like I said, I just always like to end it with side-to-side strokes. If you're wondering what kind of paintbrush I'm using, guys, I'm using a 2-inch. This is like one of them little 60 centers you can get at Walmart. It's a rough bristle, maybe camel hair, but it's a nice little 2-inch brush. I do a lot with this thing. You may hear some dings like you just did. If you hear those, that's just I didn't unplug my doorbell tonight. They should end here pretty quick. For all you guys that are joining us, can you hear me okay while I'm painting and everything? Hey, Bill's on. What's up, buddy? All right, so got my whole canvas black. While that's waiting to get a little tacky, we're going to move on to the next step shortly. Just want to take time to let you guys know, Artist Lounge Seneca Falls. We've been doing this now for 2 years. Jessi has a great business, 60 local artists downstairs. There is an online shop, so I know while everybody's kind of stuck at home or not really going places, make sure you guys check out our website. That's theartistlounge.org. And from there you can see, jump on a link and check out all those artists. I mean, you'll never have this much time again, hopefully, sitting at home. And if you do, you are at home today, check out that online store. If you guys run into any questions with it, feel free to message Jessi right on there. We're at 116 Fall Street. Why we're doing this is really, as simple as we're just trying to help out in any way we can here at the lounge. We want to make sure you guys have access to paint parties. We've spent over 100 parties we've hosted. So in us making this decision, every night at 7 p.m. we'll be doing a new painting. Tomorrow's painting, and I know I promised you one and I backed out of it today and changed it up, but tomorrow's painting is going to be a neat one. We're going to be going ahead. We're going to be doing this one here. It's going to have, nice tree. We're doing a tree today, so you'll be able to take that into your other one tomorrow. If you don't like trees, and I understand a lot of people don't like trees, get good at them while you got this time. It has a nice moon. I added an owl to mine. Some really cool mountains. So we'll be doing this one tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Another thing I'd like to point out is if you know a business in the area that wants to make sure they can get some shout outs, let Jessi know, message the Artist Lounge. We'll go ahead and make sure that business gets some promotion. We aren't charging for it. We are just going ahead and trying to promote and help out where we can. Autumn's Harvest Farm. I talked about them yesterday, Tim and Sarah Hawes. The farm has more than enough meat. A lot of people are going into stores, things are empty on the shelves. These people are farmers. They are the producers. They supply people. So if you get a chance, make sure go out and support their business. I know that they would definitely appreciate it. Jessi will go ahead and add them to the comments below. Yep. What? Oh, sorry. Tomorrow's class isn't going to be at 7. Jessi will post it downstairs. It's going to actually be 8 o'clock tomorrow. So just a little later so she finishes up her art class. So my painting's getting a little tacky. That's exactly what we want. We're going to be going into green and orange next. Now in the original painting, I have the orange on the one side and the green on the other. I'm going to go ahead and just flip-flop that, and we'll go right into an Irish flag look. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and grab some green paint. And I do see there's a ton of you out there watching right now, which is great. Like to say hi to Hey Shannon, how you doing? Bill, as I said, it looks like Tina, how you doing? Let's see, there's more I'm sure, I just can't scroll through. Lisa, how you doing? There's more I'm sure Jessi will be able to point out to you guys, and then she'll be able to have me say hi to you guys. So like I said, before we move on to the next part, if you do not have paint, I want you to feel free, go ahead, grab colored pencils, crayons, magazine clippings, charcoal, pencil, turn it into a black and white monochromatic scheme. That'd be great. With this painting, I'm going to go ahead and jump right in now. I'm not cleaning my brush in between. I don't like to do that a lot. I don't have a cool way of doing it. So I just got used to, over the years, mixing and blending. So go ahead, and I'm going to start pulling my green on this side. I'm keeping side-to-side strokes, letting it flow. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom with this. And as you can see right here, that black's still a little wet, so it's blending that green nicely. It's not making it stand out, be real vibrant. It's knocking it down, dulling it down. If you put something on and it's bright, all you got to do is move it around while the paint's still wet. When the paint's not wet, it changes things. I like to keep the side-to-side strokes while I'm doing it, so it kind of gives it that cloud look. When I'm loading my brush, everyone, I'm just loading kind of like the end of it. I'm not putting a whole bunch on there, like as you see the black, I put a whole bunch on. Reason why is because I want to be able to move it. I want to be able to have it get tacky before I move on to my next part. With acrylic, a lot of times you'll find that you're layering things. Acrylic will go on one color and then it's going to dry and it's going to dull right down. Transparency of the paint kind of plays a role into that. So sometimes you'll find yourself just layering things just to get that more vibrant color that you thought you had. So as you can see, when it dries, it's going to start mixing and the black's going to come through, so it's going to make your colors a little more dark. If you have the ability to run a multi-brush system, you can go ahead and jump from one color, come back to this one, keep lightening it up and doing it that way. Looks like I'm getting my call from Jessi. Hey, can you hear me? All right. Oh, you're asking me the color. So I'm using almost the same green we used yesterday. It's called lily pad green. So it's a lighter green. The orange that I'm going to be using, I'm going to be sticking right with my pumpkin orange. Same pumpkin orange I used yesterday. Really, guys, if you use a darker paint, The darker paint's okay. You may just notice that the black may dull it even more, so you may have to layer it a little more. Yeah, good question. Okay, so I'm going to let this set for now. I'm going to jump over. Hear a bunch of clicking over here. I got this like bin of paintbrushes next to me. So I did go ahead and grab a clean brush. If you don't have two brushes, all you have to do is clean this with water. I'd recommend going ahead, rinsing it out. Use a paper towel, dry it the best you can before jumping into the orange. Okay? Same thing, loading it on. We're just on the end of the brush here. Kind of doing just a little stroke, trying to keep it, not the same every time, just side to side. Then at the end, when I'm doing it, I'm keeping the brush horizontal. At the end, when I flip it side to side, I'm going vertical with it. Got my first part of the orange on. I'm going to go ahead and jump back to my green while it's a little tackier than it was. And I'm just working, I've gone all the way out this far. I'm just going to focus on the first few inches to try to brighten that up a little bit. Keeping my brush horizontal or vertical while I do this one. Just getting the color in right now. All right, so flipping back and forth, vertical, horizontal. I'm just fluffing the edges. I'm going to go ahead and move into my white now. I'm going to center my white right into this area here. Oh, jump to my other white. I'm going to take a quick second before moving into the white and see. I know Jessi's still on her way home. I'll go ahead and check through some of the comments here. All right. Hey, Sherry, how you doing? All right. I don't see any major comments, anyone asking any questions. Like I said, Jessi's in my ear now, so if you do have questions, make sure you just hit them on there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reuse these two paintbrushes when I'm adding my white. when I'm on the side towards my orange, I'm going to use the one that I had with the orange in it, okay? I don't want to, I'm going in with a tip, but I don't want big glops of paint on here because I want it to kind of blend. So when I go in, I'm just kind of doing these little crisscross strokes, lightening up this area. In the center here is going to end up being a tree. So when we have this white showing, right around this top area, we want to try to have that be as light as possible. So when I go in, I don't want to really have any of that black because I want this to be the lightest area, so it really creates that contrast when we add the tree with the black. I'm just fluffing it over. Before we add the tree, we can look and see if I want to make, you know, the green and the orange on the far sides are going to start to dry. I'm going to be able to take a look at them and say, hey, I want to add another color before adding the tree. So if you want to do that, you can. I'm bouncing back to my brush that I had with the green on it. Now I'm going to add some white from there. And I'm going to do the same thing over here, working towards the middle. Okay, I added my white, now I have this center area. Sticking with that brush, I'm going to move right down the center area with this white, just kind of doing little side-to-side strokes. I'm going to fluff it here in a second, so I want to move pretty quick with this. Okay, from here, now I'm going to fluff it side to side. Right from the center. You're going to carry some of that. And then, like I always do, just knocking everything down, get a nice flat surface. I'm starting to lose some of my coloration. I'm sure looking at my camera feed, I can see that you guys you guys can still see the coloration. But knowing that it's going to dry a little more, I'm just going to go in and add some little more to it. Jumping back over to the orange, do the same thing. All right, so I think we got a finished background for right now. We're going to let this get a little tacky. I wanted to go ahead and take a second, take a look at some of the camera feed. You guys have any questions while we're here? Now's a good time. Oh, hi Ma, I see you're on here. Oh, hey Bree, how you doing? All right, don't seem to have any questions right now, so we're going to let this get a little tacky. Fun story for you guys. So a lot of you guys are getting to do this homework with the kids, and I gave it till about Thursday when everyone starts talking about Common Core, and that pretty much when I was scrolling through Facebook today saw that it was like today. I didn't understand the number sentence thing. That blew my mind. My daughter come up to me, Olivia, and she was, this was 2 years ago when she was getting into it, and she was like, Dad, I have to finish this in a number sentence. And I look at it, and I'm like, well, the answer's 4. And she goes, yeah, but I need it in a number sentence. And I'm like, the answer's 4. I said, just write the answer's 4. And, of course, my wife, who, Jessi, some of you guys, know, she's really into learning with the kids, and she's like, you have no idea. She took it over and helped her out from there. So believe me, for while you guys are doing Common Core and all that good stuff at home, God bless you. God bless all the teachers out there helping everybody over the phones, answering emails, going on to video streams. It's really great what everybody's doing now, working together through all this. So now this is tacky. We're going to jump back into this. Couple things to point out. Make sure if you guys get a chance, Autumn's Harvest Farm. Talked about them earlier. They're located right in Romulus, New York. Plenty of meat, sausage. I got sausage galore at my house. I wanted to make sure I had that. They had a lot of different flavors, styles of it. So if you guys get a chance, hop out there. Tim and Sarah will take care of you. So we're going to jump right into this. We got a horizontal line that's going to go through here. A lot of times when you're putting this horizon line in, you're just going to be going straight across. You have to pick it out. If you want the tree to dominate your painting, you're just going to want to start at the 1/3 area of your canvas. Okay, now with doing that, you can use your 2-inch brush and just tap your canvas like this. Go about halfway. This paint is going to want to dry. If you have heat on at your house, it's going to dry a little quicker. From there, I'm just going to touch my canvas. And see about that? I know you guys probably can't see, but about 1 inch. Just flick it up. Boom. Got grass. If you go higher, you can have tall grass. Try to break the monotony of your brush strokes, though. So, do one up to the right, one up to the left. Just kind of break it up. If you just keep overdoing it, you're going to fluff it. Really don't want to do that part of it. So we're going to tap this right in a little further. Going to flip it up. Different directions. Okay. Now we have our bottom area. Okay, so we're going to be creating that waterish look. So real quickly, I'm going to be running across, pulling everything down. From there, I'm going to side to side stroke it. So we're going to okay. just to give you an idea, just grabbing my little palette knife, and I'm going to go ahead and throw a line, letting the paint break as I go across. Right in there. Okay, so we'll get it a little closer for you. I got a little napkin on the table right here. So if you, if you hear any weird noises, scratching and stuff, that's what it is. So, I'm going to take a second, see if there's any questions. Jessi, I got paint on your computer. Okay, Tina, my black is taken over. Do I just apply more green and orange, or will it even out? Okay, so my green's still a little wet up here. When you use a lot of paint, sometimes that black's going to just be sitting there. If it's taken over, give it a second to dry. Once it dries, it's going to allow the layering process to start. So maybe it's just a little thick right now. If you have a hair dryer at home, don't put the heat on. Turn it on to regular air, and just take a hair dryer and go right over it. That can help you. If you want, you can always grab your brush and just kind of massage it down. But what's happening is the black is just a little thick, and that's what's causing that. Good question. Hopefully I answered it in time. Hey, Jess. Yeah, I got it. I answered Tina's question. All right. So we're going to be going into the tree. I know some of you trees, have always kind of scared you off and stuff like that. If they do, just follow along with me, and hopefully I can explain something that maybe help you get it a little better. So I'm using a longer bristled brush. It's thinner. This is, you can find these online. Most craft stores have them. But the longer bristles are going to allow you to put that paint on there real good. And then while I'm making this, I try to keep my hand with a little bit of kind of a rotation, circles, or just an up and down motion. So when I'm starting on the bottom here, I'm holding the end of my brush, and I'm kind of side to side, up and down, carrying it up. With a thicker brush, I'm able to carry that paint further. If you have a smaller brush, something, like a liner brush, it doesn't always carry, and you may have to just go over it. It's okay, just go over it, the next time around. If your paint starts to break towards the top, it's okay. You're going to most likely, for this one, be adding leaves right over that anyway, so don't stress that a lot. Now, for those of you who painted with me before, I paint 5 major branches. Well, hold on, I gotta get in front of the screen. 5. And then I move away from this brush. The reason why is because I get doing it and I'm like, man, I love it, it's looking good. And I'm putting all sorts of these big, giant, thick, thumb-shaped branches. Don't. Jump into a smaller liner brush. That'll help you with your more detailed branches. If you don't have that, then go ahead, continue on with this. When I'm doing the brush stroke as well, and the best way I can talk about it is when I'm coming off the canvas, I'm actually like a plane taking off. So then that way it brings it to the point, okay? I paint on myself a lot. That's just what I do, guys. So I'm going to be coming up again. Same thing, moving my branches, going different directions. Every time I'm retouching this canvas, I'm going, just adding to the trunk of the tree. Okay? At this point, hope can y'all see all right? If you can't, let Jessi know. I'm just thickening up a couple of these towards the bottom of the trunk. I'm going to make a little knot in this tree, I think. Okay? Then I'm moving away from this brush. I love long bristled brushes. So, sticking with that long bristled brush. Okay, it's all fluffy right now. Once I add paint, it'll sharpen up to a tip. This is my detailed branch brush. I load it up. I'm adding the paint, and then I'm doing a little twist with my fingers, getting that thing to a nice sharp point. Going in, and I'm going to touch each one of these branches, doing a Y. Say again, Jessi. How did I do the black horizon? So I took my 2-inch brush. I'm just bagging up for you guys. Took the 2-inch brush, and I just tapped in some glops of paint all the way across. After I did that, I went ahead and I touched the middle of the canvas, flicking it up, creating these little grass strokes. Not big giant flicks, right? Just little short ones. Make sure to not do them all the same direction either, else it'll look like it's a windy day out there. So flick them all up. When you're done, very quickly while it's still drying, just pull everything down, making the reflection, and then just hit it with a side-to-side stroke. You do not want a lot of paint on your brush when you do this. If you have a lot of paint, it's just going to turn a big black streak. So everything I'm doing, I'm trying to use as little paint on my brush. Rule of thumb, you can always add more paint. You can't take it away, so you have to wait for things to dry. So hopefully that helps your question. Going in, and branches can cross each other too. A lot of times when I see trees, people are doing them. They have these branches that oddly stay away from the other branches. Your branches can cross right in front of and right behind, all different directions. And off of every branch that you put on, feel free to add another branch and then another branch off of that. If you make them swirly, kind of with curves and stuff, it looks a little more whimsical. If you're doing like me and you're doing kind of a jagged movement, then what happens is you end up getting this dark, dreary tree, kind of like a thing with this too is you can go ahead and put as many of these branches in as you want. If you put your leaves in crazy thick, you're going to lose every one of these. So if there's an area that you put a branch and you absolutely don't like it, don't sweat it. That's just where leaves are going to go. This little guy here, I'm just going to thicken up this branch. I wasn't a crazy fan of how it came out. Just thicken it up a little bit. One of the things I always like to add, you can usually see in most of my trees, is right at the bottom. I usually like to add a branch that's just kind of, even if I have leaves, this is going to be a dead branch. I call it my kicker branch. With that, if you want to add a swing, if you want to add anything, a tire hanging from a tree, that's a good little branch to use for it. Most of my trees have that, though, so you can usually tell when I did it. I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to try to pass their artwork off as mine. I'm so famous and all. Not really. But I always do that. Just it adds for imaginative stuff that you can add. And I know what you're thinking, like, is there, how many branches? Just add as many as you want. If you look outside at any tree in your yard, most likely you're going to see thousands of branches on even the smallest of trees. Once I get to this step, I've got my tree to where I like it. Maybe I'll add one more branch here. I got my tree to where I like it. I'm going to go ahead and jump over into that white. I'm going to keep the black on my brush, jump into the white, move it around, and I'm making like this marbly gray. With that, I'm going to be able to go ahead and hit certain sides of my tree and make little different things. So I'm going to just trail this right up, letting it mix along one side. I'm going to hit this branch right here. You can, with this, you're going to be able to put branches in front of other branches, add some definition and shape to your tree. And if your paint's still wet, you can, rub it down and actually create kind of like a lighter version or a darker version of what you're making. As a shadow. If you're going to go in and add the little, owl hole, all you have to do is kind of make this shape. I'm going to get a little closer with this. Just like a football. Greatest sport in the world. One of them. I also coach wrestling. That's an awesome sport. And from there you can detail that however you like. When you put highlights in, you can overdo them. If you do overdo them, just jump into your black again and darken it up. So I'm going to drop this brush back into the container. I'm going to move back over to my 2-inch brush. Okay? With my 2-inch brush, I'm not loading the whole thing. I'm only loading that little bit right there. And I'm going to go ahead and start tapping in some leaves where I see them. Just because a branch doesn't go to where you want to put the leaves, it doesn't matter. You can go ahead and just start tapping these in. Oh, look at Jason. There's my brother. Hey, Jay. Hopefully the people in Washington can start jumping on and painting with us now. I'm pretty sure that's probably at this point, with that many likes, maybe my niece, my nephew. So if that is you, hi Audrey, hi Jace. Okay, so like I said, just because branches aren't doesn't mean you can't drop a couple leaves in. If you want to do a reflection of this tree, okay, you have to make sure your brush doesn't have a lot on there, and then just go ahead and throw some blotches in there. And then hit it side to side. You'll notice that motion I'm doing, it just kind of really blends it nice for me. Now, some people may want to add different things, birds, dogs. Now's the time. Go ahead, jump right in. All sorts of things you can add. If you're unsure and you want to do a dog, let's say, jump onto this great internet we have and Google a silhouette. The silhouette will pretty much show you a great outline to go by. Everybody has different dogs. Grab a picture and just trace out the outline of whatever your animal is from that picture onto a piece of paper, and then when you go to your painting you can do that. But the only thing you're in for is the outline of that animal. So I'm going to go ahead with mine. I'm going to add a, Jay said what? A crane, huh? Well, I tell you what, I'll go ahead and put a crane in for Jason. I'm probably going to add like a loon or something. I don't really know, but we'll go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and put a line right here. Carry that down. And I'll go ahead and touch the black down here and give it a little flick. Add some more leaves right there. Any other things you guys would like to see me add? Going once. Going twice. All right. Any questions before we wrap this painting up? I'm going to go ahead and start signing it. And if you have any questions, just hit them up. Jessi will let me know. Oh, yeah? Dragons and fire, Jason. Really? How about I'll work a dragon and fire into one of the ones this week? An owl. Okay, so let's go ahead and throw an owl in there. Because I've already finished my tree, okay, I'm going to throw a dead branch out here just into an area where I can throw an owl. With adding the owl, I'm going to be bringing this canvas back and forth so you guys can see it. I'm going to start off very simply with a circle of where the head's going to be. Okay? Sometimes it's easier to do the owl. I'm going to actually probably see if I can paint this pretty close like this. Sometimes it's easier to wait till your owl's done and then throw that branch out there. If you do that, then at least you're not going to have the branch looking like it's piercing your bird in the middle of it. So after you do that, I'm just going to go ahead and put 2 little horns. I like the horn-rimmed owl because then you see it's an owl very easily. So I went in, just put a little horn on there. The next part, it's not really that hard for this silhouette that I do. I'm just going to make a straight line down next to where his shoulder would end. From there, I'm going to make like an upside down D. So on mine, the D's a little thicker at the top. And after you do that, go ahead and color it right in. And there you go, guys. There's a nice little owl in a tree for you. I know I'm on a little bit of a delay, so I'll give it a little bit if anybody wants to add anything else. All right, and with that, I think we have a finished painting. Thank you guys for joining us tonight, everybody that was able to jump on. We keep the videos right on our Facebook page, so if you're able to, weren't able to jump on with us tonight, feel free, go ahead and watch them. If you guys get a chance, leave a picture in the comments. No one's going to judge, and it's just kind of inspiration on my end doing this, just seeing your guys' comments. So thanks for joining us. I'm Jessi. Oh, what was that, Jess? What was that? Wings? All right. Looks like we're not signing off yet. Okay. So if we're going to add wings, I'm going to go ahead and put 2 lines out like that. From there, always coming from this corner where like the armpit of the bird, I'm just going to keep fluffing all the way to the end. Same thing on the other side. So like it's taken off there. Okay, and with that, I think we got to finish painting. Thanks again, guys, for stopping on, painting. Know there's a lot of craziness going on every night at 7. As long as I'm able to, I'm going to be on with you. So thank you, everybody, for stopping in. Jason on Washington, out in Washington State, jumping on. Spread the word out there with your friends. They're more than welcome to jump on and join us. From the Artist Lounge here in Seneca Falls, this is Dale. In my ear is Jessi, and on the screen is Bill. We're signing off. See you guys later.